As you're listening to this show, you're probably training for a race. But how dialed in is your race nutrition? Precision Fuel and Hydration has a free online planner that you can use to work out how much carbs, sodium and fluid you need to perform at your best. Brady regularly uses their resealable 90-gram gels on his longer runs. Click the link in the show notes to use the planner to personalise your strategy for your next race. Then use the code INSIDE to get 15% off your first order of fuel and electrolytes and help support the show. More details at precisionhydration.com. Now let's get to it.
Being a skin can bring us so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place?
Welcome to episode number 325 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. We've got a big show coming at you this week. We've got some patrons to thank. We've got some running news to talk about, listener question, might have some whispers and go on the loose about a few things and a bit of stuff to talk about with what's coming up, and a bit of a review on some precision hydration products that we've been testing out thanks to the team at Precision Hydration. Welcome to my co-host. He's up in Canberra, Bradley Croker. How are you this week?
Good, thanks, Brady. Back from the beach, feeling recharged, and looking forward to hearing from our guest host tonight. We haven't really had him on the show before, and I'm not sure we done an interview with him.
We have.
Maybe one interview.
Well, he's been on twice, Bradley. This man. He was first on episode number 23 back in 23, Michael Jordan's number, 11th of April 2018, and then he also came in on episode 211. Before, as it was one of the favourites of the Melbourne Marathon at that stage. He's got a half marathon PB of 62, 10k PB of 28.35, represented Australia at the 2018 World Half Marathon Championships, where he came 71st. He's got a marathon PB of 2:11.51. He is the owner / director of Pinnacle Sports Podiatry. He now sits on the board of the Sports and Exercise Podiatry Association. He's the star of Australia's #1 running shoe-related podcast in Shoe Geeks. And I think he's also like the Sydney Swans #1 like podiatrist and stuff as well. Welcome to the show, Tom Do Canto. Thanks for giving up some time on your Monday night.
Thank you, Bradley. Thanks for having me. That's a good intro. Thanks, man.
We're stoked to have you. Yeah, I did some digging today. Had some of your mates help me out with some of that podiatry stuff. So we're looking forward to hearing about all things Tom Do Canto. Obviously, our listeners hear from you talking about shoes, but we'll go a bit more nitty-gritty into the training side of things tonight and your goals and hear about what you've been doing. So, yeah, I know it was a bit of a challenge to get you on. Busy man, busy dad as well. So, thanks for giving up some time.
No worries. Happy to do it. Thanks for pushing it back half an hour so the kids could get them down.
Yeah, I think Croaks had some problems at his house at the normal recording time, and so did I, getting kids down to bed. So 7:30 actually worked out pretty well for us. Tommy, how you feeling off the back of the big PB at Valencia, the 2:11.51?
Yeah, feeling good. It's finally it's good to get a result that I thought I had in me, but just never really executed. It's the last few years I thought I'd be able to do something like that, but you know how it is. Like, you don't get that many opportunities with the marathon, so it was just good to finally get a result that I could be sort of happy with, based off how all the training I put in. So still feeling pretty good about it.
And you're backing up for Osaka? Oh, sorry, Croaks.
Yeah, well, that was pretty much what I was going to say. It's like most people after a marathon, that first month not really doing anything, and it looks like you've pretty much had maybe 1 or 2 weeks off and straight into Osaka prep. How's that all going?
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought I'd keep going. I pulled up really well, actually. So I did Sydney Marathon, and I pulled up way worse from that. So I kind of got rolling in for this Osaka prep. I knew I was going to do Osaka, so I thought if I could squeeze out a bigger block, it'd be better. So Yeah.
Well, based on your bars on Strava, like the last 6 weeks, looks like it's actually been a better prep than what it was for Valencia. Is that fair? Fair observation.
Yeah. Touch wood. Like since Valencia, I haven't had any hiccups. I haven't been sick. Now that I said that, I'm probably going to get sick. But yeah, I haven't kids haven't been sick and I haven't been sick, which has probably been like the biggest help for actually getting the training done. So if things keep rolling the way they are, then I'm really looking forward to Osaka.
So you feel fitter now than when you ran Valencia?
Yeah.
Wow.
Take us back to Valencia, Tommy. Like you were there for the World Half Champs back in 2018. Like it's a magical place for that marathon in December.
Yeah. Well, I got such good memories from that event, and you've done Valencia, so you know what it's like. It's they love running over there, and the organisation that goes into it. It's pretty streamlined. It's well done. You would have gone down in that car park.
How cool is it?
It's cool. So we did that for World Champs, and so it was cool to sort of get back in the underground car park for the warm up with all the elites and sub elites. So it was cool. Did that. Yeah, sort of reminiscing of my time there from that World Champs, and got me all pumped and fired up for it.
Did you get nervous at all, like with the field? Like it's a real aim for the stars kind of thing when you're doing Valencia. A lot of like kamikaze style racing, I guess. Some big names hooking around.
Yeah, no, it was just more exciting. Like, doing a warm up and just literally doing drills next to Bikili. It was pretty cool.
Do you get all fanboy?
No, I'm not gonna interrupt anyone to get a selfie or anything. So no, I didn't want to. I probably would have loved to get a selfie with Bikili, but I would never annoy him during his warm up and ask him for one.
I can send you my one, mate, if that helps.
Hey, Croak's got one. Croak's annoyed him.
I'll just Photoshop myself in that.
He was in the race hotel at Berlin, 2017.
Yeah, that's okay. Race hotel's okay. Not while he's warming up.
No.
Did you stick around there for long, or did you come straight home back to the family?
Nah, so my wife Lana, her family from London, so I flew into London and spent 3 nights in London, then flew on to Valencia for 3 nights, and I came back to London the same day as the race, so I flew back on Sunday night, and I left London back home on the Monday. Okay. I didn't, had a quick lunch in Valencia after the race, and then headed back to London, then on to home.
Couple of beers, celebrate.
Yes, I met up with Jordan Donnelly.
Yeah, I know Jordan.
Shoe Geeks, big shoe dog from On Running.
Yeah, huh? Shoe Geeks fame. Yeah, you guys made him famous.
Jordan's got a man crush on Brady.
Me and Jordan are like this.
I saw him post about you, Brady.
Yeah, I'm his boy.
Yeah. No, we had lunch. So we had a few beers, had some tapas. He speaks fluent Spanish. He was really showing off.
He's the kind of guy that speaks like 6 languages, I reckon.
Yeah. He's a real high achiever.
Oh, that's good.
It was good. So had that. My dad was there as well. So my dad speaks Spanish as well. So I was the odd one out.
That's good.
And with Valencia, Tommy, at what point in the race did you know that you were going to crush it and that there was, no hiccups at all on the way?
I only knew so at 30K, I was saying this on the Shoe Geeks app, I was actually feeling really, really good at 30K. So I kind of pushed on from the group we were in. And I thought at that point, I was like, I'm going to negative split. I'm going to run 210 or something like that. But a few K into that, at about 33, 34K, the legs started to get real heavy. So I just sort of dialed it back. I'm like, okay, settle down. And then from there, I knew it was all going pretty good, but with about 2 or 3K to go, the calves were really locking up. And so I was actually worried with a few K to go that if they kept going the way they were going, I potentially would have to really slow down. But thankfully they pretty much I got to I was able to maintain pace, but like honestly, another K or two, and yeah, it mightn't have been pretty. So,
yeah, where's it leave you now, Tommy? Like I was looking at the rankings today, with the points you've got Valencia and then your half marathon at Melbourne. So are you looking at putting another time on the board, potentially quicker at Osaka to try get like were you thinking Olympics, sneaking in somehow, and even a third marathon?
I may as well. Like yeah. To be honest, I kind of when people ask me about what I want to do in Osaka, I got a couple of responses. I'll be like telling some people, just a PB would be good, but deep down, I'm probably, if training keeps going well, I'm probably just going to go out at 2:08 pace. And if there's like a 2% chance that I can run a 2:08 flat, I'm going to take that chance. I'm not really too fussed if I blow up and I don't run a PB. So I'm just sort of going there I'm trying to put in like a big block, as you can kind of tell, like it's high mileage, and I'm putting in some quality in and seeing if I can get like quite a bit fitter than I was in Valencia. And to be honest, if depending on what happens and who goes out and if there's pacemakers or not, I'll probably just go out pretty hard. Yeah. Or if it feels okay, I probably will go out at around 2:08 flat pace to see if I actually get a time qualifier rather than points. I don't think I'll be able to get on points. I think if I wanted to get in on points, I'd have to run 2:08 anyway.
Or you'd have to look at some like really like, strange marathon that's in hot conditions that you can potentially come 8th in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something like that, running like 2:11 as well, like something. Yeah, go point hunting.
I'm not. Yeah.
The only downside of going kamikaze is if you, Brett's qualified and Pat's qualified, and if one of them or both of them would potentially get injured, then I guess you can get selected if you've, which you've already run. Yeah, you've run under that time already, haven't you?
I haven't run under 2:11:30. So
yeah, okay. So that would be So that would be the downside of going, all out and missing, a 2:11:30, which you're obviously quite capable of, and one of those guys getting injured and then not making the team.
Yeah.
Well, he backs up quick, Krog, so you can try the kamikaze approach at Osaka and then go to Copenhagen and just nail a 2:09:30.
It's Japan, so like the theme of Japanese running is kamikaze, so maybe I'll just join them.
Yeah, but isn't also the theme that they're all like walking from 35k onwards? You might not have much company in the second.
Have you had a look through the results? I had a look through the results from last year, and it looks kind of impressive when you look at the finishing time. But then when you go through the actual splits, it's not pretty.
And then you don't want to be on in the gutter when Moose goes past you either.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. It's true.
Tell us about your training week, Tommy. Take us through Monday through to Sunday. It was pretty impressive. Some big mileage in there, and capped off with a pretty large Sunday.
Yeah. So, all right. So basically, we go Monday. So I've got a pretty standard routine. Like so, basically Monday I started. It's basically commute. A lot of my running is like run commute. So basically, I get the train from my place to Walleye Creek, which is kind of like halfway from home to work, and I get off and I run the rest of the way. So that was 12k at 4:46s.
Is this backpack and stuff, or you carrying nothing?
I go Ed Goddard style, just phone in the hand, and keys in the back pocket. Nice. I used to run with a backpack, and I had like my keys in a little pocket. I had like a good Solomon backpack. It was sort of snug and whatever, but especially in summer, like it just gets so sweaty and it's just gross. And so if I can just whack keys in short pockets and just, I'm used to carrying the phone now in my hand. It doesn't, at the beginning it was kind of weird and annoying, but you get used to it. Like I don't even register I'm doing it now. So it's actually a lot more comfortable than running with a backpack.
Do you get on the train with like splitties and a singlet on and stuff, or you like get a few looks?
So on Saturdays, because I do a Saturday session at Centennial Park, and I get on with splitties and holding my session shoes and stuff on the train. It's a bit awkward.
Sydney would embrace that though, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, it's fine. Saturday morning. It's just like train with it's hardly it's empty and just a few tradies that are mine.
Okay.
So I was actually, that Monday, I was actually pretty shattered from the Sunday before yesterday was, anyone in Sydney last Sunday, it was brutal. It was so humid. So that Monday morning run was a bit of a battle. I was still recovering from the Sunday long run. After work that day, so ran home, so 12K. So I get off, I get on the train from work and get off like earlier, and then just jog the rest of the way. So it's 12K 444s, a couple of just easy mileage runs. Then Tuesdays, it's kind of like my medium long run. So I normally just do one run on a Tuesday, do it in the morning. I'm normally off work on a Tuesday, so I basically just get out before Lana heads off to work and get the run done. So that's my one run a week. I get a bit of trail. So I run to, I live in Sutherland Shire. So I live quite close to the Royal National Park, which is like a really nice part of Sydney. In terms of like trail, I think some nice trails there. So I only get to use it once a week, but it's pretty nice. I go run down there. It's 5K, run to the park, do, I don't know, it's probably like 8 or 10K around the park. It's do like a top loop. A loop is a big sort of hill down to the creek and then a hill back up. So that was 20. What was that run? Oh yeah, 20K, 434s.
And you're out the door at 5:37 a.m. What time are you getting up for that one? Like, can you just rock straight out of bed and get jogging, or you got to get up a bit before?
I'll be up. Yeah, it would have been up like 5:15 or something.
I thought you were a bit older than that. How old are you?
37.
Jeez, that's good going, Croaks, isn't it?
100%. I couldn't do that.
20 minutes before he gets up and then he's out the door.
I'm minimum an hour.
Really?
Yeah, I
pretty
do
much.
Minimum 40 minutes, Tom.
Yeah.
School teachers say we put some stress through our bodies over the years.
I haven't done enough mileage. I should probably bump it up to 250 a week.
Yeah, I reckon.
By the sounds, yeah. So that was a good run. That was actually a lot cooler that day. So that was heaps easier. I actually had on Tuesdays. Niddle loves asking me if I'm wearing heart rate strap or not. So that day I had heart rate strap on, and that was 114s. So that was nice. That was good. That was a recovery run.
There's something in that though for the listeners. Like
what's your max though, Tommy? Like, where do you get up to if you're going like really hard session?
To be honest, I hardly ever wear the chest strap for hard sessions. I'll wear it occasionally for longer workouts, but I'm not sure what my max is, to be honest, Croaks.
That seems real. Like 114 is really low.
I was surprised. It's normally sitting around 120 for some of those easy runs. So that's the lowest it's been in. Yeah, it's the lowest I've seen it actually with a heart rate strap.
This is a 2:11 guy though, jogging at 4:34 pace, Croaks.
Yeah,
isn't that a good lesson? That's a good lesson for the listeners who sometimes like pushing the pace of their easy jogs. Like, let the body recover. Keep it easy.
Yeah. So that was that. That's a nice loop. And then so basically Wednesdays. So basically the way I structure my week most weeks is session Wednesday, shorter sort of session Wednesday, and a longer sort of session on Saturday. So my session Wednesday morning, I drive down to I got a Sylvania track. So it's a free synthetic track. You can jump on and anyone can use it. So it's a really good facility. I just wish they'd open toilets up there, but otherwise it's pretty good. So went down there, did a 5K warm up, and then session was 4x200 on a 130 cycle. So I'd go again on the 130, and then 8x1K. I haven't done K reps in ages. So that was good to do some K reps. So that was on a 430 cycle. So I was getting about a minute and a half if I was doing around 3-minute Ks. So the goal of this session was just to roll them and feel comfortable running 3 or just under 3-minute Ks. So I did 200s. Like these 200s are, it's funny, like I'm so slow, like 200, I did them in 30 seconds. And for me, like 30 seconds, it's pretty much like that's 90 to 100% effort. That's like going hard. Did my 200s in 30 seconds. And then K reps with 255, 53, 51, 51, 50, 50, 49, 46. So just had a nice little progression. Felt better as it went on.
Tommy, do you do strides before the 200s, or is the purpose of the 200s to do your strides?
No, it does. It goes drills, strides, 200s.
Yep.
And the 200s are good. I like the 200s before the session. Seems to help.
And these, sorry, Tommy, these speed sessions, are these different to what you've been doing in other sort of marathon preps? Are you really trying to just improve your speed a little bit more, or this is what you've done pretty much all your marathon preps?
The last couple of years, like leading into my, what year was it? Like 2020, when I ran PBs over like most distances maybe in 2020. 2021. Like when I ran 62 half in Launceston, I'd gone back to doing much shorter VO2 work, and I think I really responded well to it. So I'm not sure if it's just VO2 raising that, or whether it's something to do with like mechanics and just getting efficient neuromuscular efficiency at the faster pace. But I feel like I'm a responder to because it's not my, like, it doesn't come natural to me doing fast stuff. So I feel like I'm working on weaknesses, and I get a lot back from it. So 1K reps is like on the longer end of my Wednesdays. Like I actually try, like the week before I did 400s. I just did 8 400s. So much lower volume, but faster pace. I was probably running faster than my 1500 race pace for those 400s. I think maybe. Yeah. It seems to work well for me. So where was I? Then just a short cool down, 3.5K. Then Thursday's double. Another couple.
Is that
what's that?
Do you double?
65-minute double. Yeah.
Oh yeah, double. Sorry. So session in the morning, then go to work, and then I ran home. So 14K that evening. 14K easy back home. Pretty much every day is a double except Tuesday and Sunday. So then Thursday is another easy double day. So 14 in the morning, 3 at 4:29s, and then 14 in the evening at 4:33s. Friday, what did I do Friday? A couple of easy ones. So 12K at 4:43s and 12Ks at 4:26s. So this last week just gone. So normally I would do a Saturday session at Centennial with Run Crew, but we had a big sort of marathon session planned, so we pushed that to the Sunday. So just combined the marathon session with the long run. So Saturday I actually just had one easy run. So just did 11K around home. So that felt like a pretty cruisy day. And then onto Sunday. So I guess off the back of Valencia, I'm trying to incorporate. I haven't done that many of these sort of marathon specific sessions in the build up to previous marathons. So I'm just trying to get a little bit more race specific conditioning. So the idea is just to get that mechanical trauma that you probably will get towards the end of the marathon. I did 38K total. Did 30K. First 30K was sort of a steady pace. So goal was to be around 3:30s. I think we just averaged a touch under 3:30s for that first 30K. And then into 8K faster. So I was hoping to run around 3-minute Ks. To be honest, like the session, Gary and I kept just like tossing around different session ideas, and it was pretty hot Sunday, so I was kind of going into it, which is a little bit annoying when you don't have something fully set, but I was sort of going into the session being a bit flexible, knowing that if it got really hot and humid, I was probably going to modify it on the go, and either modify it by modifying paces or modifying the length. So I was going to go to 40K, but I got to 38 and decided you get to that point where you got like sweat streaming down and it's like flicking off your fingers as you're running. And it was just, it was 38. 38 was enough. So I pulled it there and so it all went pretty well. Like it felt pretty good. I had Croaks, Nipper pretty well, I assume.
Yep. Used to teach Nipper and used to train with Nipper. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good Nipper. So I've never trained with him, but the last 2 marathon sessions he's jumped in with us. So he's training for London, I believe. And then had your athlete with me as well, Jack Maxwell, my mate,
yeah.
coaching.
Wasn't on his program, but any opportunity to run with you any opportunity to run with you and Nipper, you got to take that.
Oh, he ran. He wasn't on the bike. How far did he go?
No, he's the first lap of the bay, so 7K.
Okay, yeah.
Combined his Friday session and his Sunday long run, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he did a bit before and a bit after, but he did.
I'm just happy he's back running.
20 degrees and 91% though on your Strava, Tommy. It's not ideal running conditions.
Yeah, and that affected nutrition as well. So like, it was a bit unfortunate because I really wanted to practice race nutrition, but because the thing is, like, Osaka is going to be, we're pretty guaranteed it's going to be cold, right? It's going to be pretty cold. So I don't think we're going to have to take on much fluid. I think it's more just about taking on carbs. But for this one, I had to prioritize fluid over carbs because I can't digest, I feel like I can't digest high concentrations of carbs with high volumes of fluid as well. So I did the 160 Morton mix instead of the 320 and diluted it a bit more. So it was more kind of just on the fluid side of things. Handled it okay. Like historically, I've been really, really bad with nutrition, with my gut, just not handling. Like in Valencia, I wouldn't have had more than 2 gels.
Yeah, I heard you say that at Shoe Geeks. I was blown away when you said that.
Yeah.
Did you have no more than 2 gels, but did you have carbs in another format, like in drinks?
Yeah. I had a few swigs of a bottle.
So
it wasn't hot enough to me.
So what you're talking like, say 2 gels, that's 60 grams of carbs, and what, another 30 grams in liquid? Like you wouldn't have had any more than 90 grams?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been any more than 30. Yeah.
And the gels might have only been 24. What gels did you have?
They're 23 grams.
Yeah, so he's only had 46 in the gels.
Are you planning to change that, like, for Osaka?
Yeah. The thing is, I didn't have. I also didn't have drinks in Valencia. I didn't have like anything out, so I had to carry it. And I mean, I didn't even take everything that I was carrying. I sort of just, my stomach just wasn't. I didn't want to risk. Like, I just didn't want to risk getting or I kind of had a stitch in the warm up, so it was like not worth it.
You must be so efficient at burning like fats and stuff.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I reckon I am.
You got to get tested, get in the lab.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, tell me about
I've been wearing a this thing called a CGM, like continuous glucose monitor, for a couple of weeks. So it's been quite interesting, like seeing. So not this marathon session, but the one before 2 weeks ago, I wore it for that. And obviously, it's totally different to running at a marathon race intensity for the same duration, but still, like, I didn't get any dips. Like, my glucose was just on the rise continuously for that session. So I do want to kind of play around with that a little bit more moving forward, just to see if I do get dips in some of these real long marathon sessions or not.
Can you explain it to me? Because like people might have seen Kipchoge wears one, usually like a white circle on. Is it like a sticker? Like it sticks on you? It's not like wrapped around with like a band. Thin plastic disc that sticks. It's got a flexible filament that sort of penetrates the skin. Yep. And just sticks to the back of your upper arm, basically. And then does that sync with your watch? And so it syncs with your phone via an app. You can get there is a company that does a watch. It's just like a separate watch. I don't think it'll link to any sort of standard GPS watches, but there is a watch you can get that will read off that.
But yeah, I just used it retrospectively. I just sort of looked at it, through the day, like things that I was eating or, fasting glucose. I was interested in that in the mornings. And then, for looking at long runs and sessions and stuff like that.
So I'm a real simple fella here, Tom. That's why I'm asking questions. So if you were to put this on your workout for 38K on the weekend and then looked at the data afterwards, would it kind of show you how close you were to bonking?
It would tell me if I was bonking, yeah.
Yeah, and if you weren't, how close you were to it? No,
you won't know if you're about to have a dip. It's basically just, it measures when you've got this is, what I believe from what I've read with it. If you've got your phone on you, it'll sort of give you a reading every minute. So you've got every single minute, or if you have this watch, it'll upload data every minute. If you haven't got your phone with you in the app, I think it only does it every 5 or 10 minutes. But still not too bad. But there may be, if you don't have the watch or the phone with you, that you might miss maybe like a dip or something. But yeah, so essentially I don't have my phone with me, so I'm sort of relying on maybe every 5 or 10 minutes capturing some data. And you're just looking at a graph. Basically, it's just a graph, and it just tracks and plots your levels every time it takes a reading. And you're just looking to see is it going up or down, and at what angle is it going up and down, and is it fluctuating or is it steady? Yeah. Basically. But if you're exercising during an exercise bout, like, it shouldn't fluctuate. It should either be going up, ideally up, or going down if you're bonking.
Up because you're putting in gels and drinks and those kind of things. You're putting in carbs.
The interesting thing about it is it's not just for me. It's been going up on runs. It was really interesting actually, because like even on just runs, like fasted runs, say in the morning, like haven't had any breakfast, warm-ups for sessions and stuff like that, it just goes up and up. And that long run session, I've put it on my Strava, but basically the steepness of that line kept going up and up and up. So it was actually, my blood sugar levels were like increasing at a higher rate towards the end of the run. And you'd probably think it was the opposite. You'd probably think maybe because you're starting to lose some blood glucose, it'd be dropping. But it's because I assume, I'm not a nutritionist or anything or expert on it, but I assume it's because the liver is where you're going to have most of your glucose stores, and in response to exercise, the liver will dump glucose into your bloodstream. So if you're doing a high intensity exercise, your body's like, okay, you need more glucose. So if the heart rate goes up, the body's like, okay, more glucose. And that's why, like, after all my sessions, 5 minutes after, if I didn't take glucose straight away, there'd be a huge dip because all of a sudden I'd stopped exercising and the body started obviously producing insulin, and it was it just didn't, it was reabsorbing, and all that blood glucose level just like dropped off a cliff. But that wasn't because I bonked. That was just because the body sort of realized that it was no longer exercising.
And is that the reason why there's like that 10-15 minute window that people say get carbs in once you're finished?
I mean, possibly. I don't know if that's a direct link there, but yeah, you'd stave off like a big drop if you just sort of replenish. It'll probably slow down that huge drop that you get.
I thought that was also more to do with often at the end of exercise, you are in a depleted state and your body can absorb faster, like, sort of trying to compensate by, hey, I need to get this in. So it can absorb it a bit faster because you are in a depleted state. Tommy, I noticed the Red Bull in that. Have you raced with Red Bull before or used Red Bull in training? And how does it compare to like flat Coke for you? Because I've raced I use flat Coke at the end of marathons and swear by it. Thoughts on Red Bull versus Coke?
I like the Red Bull. Just like the fact it's got caffeine as well. So I'm a big responder to caffeine. So I like the fact it's got a high content of caffeine, and just the sweet sugary of it and the flavor hit. I quite like the flavor of Red Bull. So just a combination of the fact that it tastes good and it's got Yeah, it's got caffeine. That's,
So has
something
it got
to
a
look
lot
forward
more?
to.
Yeah, has it got a lot more caffeine than what Coke does?
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Heaps more Cokes.
yeah,
You would have done a few Jaeger bombs back in your day, wouldn't you, Brad?
Yeah, a few.
I reckon you would have. How has no one made a Red Bull flavoured gel? Maybe it's
Red
copyrighted
Bull
too hard.
Should do it. Yeah, do a collab with
They
someone.
give it to you at Berlin. There's Red Bull on the side of the road at like 35k, little cups of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you'd like that. Hey, Tommy, a shoe question for you. You got a pair of the Alpha Fly 3s. Didn't decide to wear them, though, in this workout. Went with the Vaporfly 2s. The firm Vaporflies, I'm calling those ones. I thought you didn't like those ones.
What's that?
I thought you didn't like the 2s as much.
Yeah, I don't like them as much, but that's it's just what I got left. So I'm just using what I got. But
You've never been an alpha fly man, though, have you?
Nah, I never had the 2s. I had the 1s, and I didn't hate them. I just didn't like them anywhere near as much as the Vaporfly. They just I felt when I ran in the Alpha Fly that it just altered my gait to the point where it didn't feel as smooth, and it felt like I couldn't sort of have the same cadence, which didn't feel as good for me.
And have you put the Alpha Fly 3s on?
Yeah, so I did some strides in the car park before the Sunday long run, and I was so tempted just to that'll be fine. I'll just wear them for a 40k sesh, but I decided that would be dumb, and I just did some strides in them and put on what I knew and had been training in. So I just got to do a shorter run. I'll do maybe Wednesday or Saturday this week. I'll give them a go for a shorter session and see if I like them.
Have you got a fresh pair of Vaporfly 1s waiting for Osaka, or you reckon the Alpha Fly 3s might be the shoe?
I'm hoping Alpha Fly 3 is the shoe. I need any extra advantage that I can get. So I'm hoping I'm a responder.
Super responder. How annoyed were you getting when all the influencers got them and then your pair didn't arrive? I know there's guys from the US trials cracking the shits as well about the influencers in America getting them and then they don't have them for the US trials.
Yeah.
Bloody
Knitter and Moose got them weeks before me.
Yeah. Your Croaks and I are feeling your pain, mate. We only got a pair last week as well, and we're like the third tier influencers that got a pair.
I haven't got mine yet.
Oh yeah, actually yours are in my shed.
I know. They're very squeaky.
Squeaky? No.
Oh, they're very loud. Yeah.
I thought Moose was saying they were less loud because it's more like it's all in sync now.
I think, you'd think so. I probably just haven't worn an Alpha Fly for so long that I just forgot how they just are louder than a Vaporfly, just having the pods in there.
Yeah. That's a good week. How many Ks was that? Like 180 something?
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, 180 something, 186 maybe.
Probably sitting at about 190, 200 average for the last 5 or 6 weeks.
187. Yeah, I got up. Yeah. The average so far the last 6 weeks is a lot higher than pre-Valencia. So it's just a matter of trying to absorb it, obviously. So the heat's not helping. I'm sort of just, borderline absorbing. But I'm recovering well enough. Sessions are still going pretty well, feeling pretty fresh and pretty good.
The heat will get you fit
really
though, Tommy.
Today.
That 38, because I'm having lived in Sydney before, I know how humid it can get up there. And to do, 38K at 321s, you put yourself in 5 degrees compared to that, you're going to feel so fit and so good.
Yeah, I hope so, mate. Yeah, that's the hope.
Another quick question just on your training. So, you're with Run Crew and Gary is your coach, but you've been running for a long time. How much is, Gary telling you exactly what to do versus you sort of having input into that? Yeah,
we got a good setup now. So we've been working together, I think, since 2017, so quite a while now. And it's pretty much now what we do is he's happy for me to organize my mileage, and he will give me really good. So pretty much when I got goal races coming up in a sort of block period, he's going to give me my ideas on Wednesday sessions and Wednesday progressions, as well as obviously Saturday sessions that I do with the group with Run Crew, and sometimes a bit with the long runs, and obviously marathon sessions as well. And he's hugely helpful. The last couple of marathon sessions we've done, he's been out on the bike He set up a table, so we did this session around the bay. You would have run around the bay in Drummoyne?
Yeah, a lot. I used to live at Chiswick.
Okay, yeah. So he just set up a table there, and so we got every 7K, we got access to our drinks and gels, and then he'll occasionally ride around on the bike and hand us drinks as well.
Good, Tommy.
Yeah, so we just go back and forth. We'll chat about. Yeah, he'll ask me what I think. I'll ask him what he thinks, and then But for the most part,
bit of a collab.
Just do what he says.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. For the most part, I just do the sessions he tells me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good recap, Tommy. Thanks for that. You're sounding good too. Listeners will hear that Tom's got a brand new microphone after there was a few issues on Shoe Geeks last edition, and he's sounding crystal clear this week. Croaks, can you top that week? Good luck.
No, pretty ordinary.
What'd you do? You were down the beach, weren't you? It's always hard when you're on holidays with kids to fit in running.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It was good just having a change of scenery, and I haven't been down around Bateman's Bay since Viv's parents sold their coast house. So it's been like a couple of years, and I love this area of the South Coast for running because there's flat areas for sessions. There's really nice fire trails for long runs. So be an awesome place for a training camp. But my week kicked off on Monday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, had Monday off. And so I met Matt Johnson, who lives down in Browley for a session. And, dead flat. We just found basically a 1K straight road. And, session was 8 by 3 minutes with 1 minute sort of standing rest, like a little bit of a shuffle, but, it was pretty much standing recovery. And I actually really enjoyed this session. One, it was like just training somewhere new. Two, like training in the afternoon. I haven't done an afternoon session for quite a while, and I find that my body is definitely a bit better in the afternoons in terms of just mobility and feeling like I'm just moving better across the ground. So, and it was, I remember last Tuesday when we recorded Brady House that I just wanted to pull the effort back a little bit of sessions. I just felt like I was maybe overreaching a little bit, and this was just right in that sort of sweet spot where fastest rep was 3:12 pace and the slowest was 3:16, but I finished this one feeling like I could do another 2-4 reps, that sort of thing. So I felt like the effort was about right. Heart rate was mid to high 160s. And it was just fun having Matt for company, and a real quiet road where you just up one way, turn around, head back. So that was Tuesday afternoon. And then Wednesday morning, I met Matt at Runniford Road. So it's a road that's just north of Mogo. And it actually runs from Mogo all the way through to Nelligan. I think it's like 26K in one way, but one direction. So I just did 10K out, 10K back. Matt only wanted to do 10K. So he met me 5K in, and then he did sort of the middle section with me. It's quite a hilly... it's quite hilly through there, but all the hills are really runnable. So I've got like 395 metres of elevation over the 20K, and that 20K took me sort of 86 minutes. So what was the average? It was like 4:13s or something. But I felt really good on that run. Like pace is obviously pretty solid, but I pulled up well from the day before, and in the old Super Blast, which also helps. So, and then Thursday, I didn't run till we got back to Canberra. So just headed out to Mulligan's, 4:16s for just over 8K. And then Friday, there wasn't a group session because most people were racing the Stromlo 5K on Friday evening. So I thought I'd get back onto the treadmill because I haven't done a treadmill session for, I reckon it'd be almost like 2 years. And I got really fit off it 2 years ago, and also thought it'd be a good way to test my fitness because I would regularly do 6-minute reps on the treadmill, jump off, walk around for a minute and jump back on. And I look back to some old training data to, see where I was in sort of similar shape. And so I decided to just do them at 17K an hour, which is about 3:30s. Always feels way faster on the treadmill than 3:30s. Like if I was running 3:30s outside, it would feel a lot slower than what it did on the treadmill. But from a heart rate point of view, it was perfect. Average like 150 for the whole session, including the recoveries. And my max heart rate for that was 159. So I reckon it puts me in similar shape to where I was probably March 2 years ago, which, I ran, 2:23 at Gold Coast in July. So I'm obviously going okay. My only issue here was with my watch, Brady. I know that you said that when you calibrated your Garmin on the treadmill, it was fine. But like I calibrated mine after the warm up. So I ran like 5-minute Ks for 4K. It asked me how far I'd run. So I said 4K. And then when I did the session, it was basically telling me I was running similar pace. So I ended up then just putting this as like a manual entry into Strava, because the heart rate data was obviously accurate, but the paces and stuff were way off for the treadmill.
It's like it sets that, isn't it? Like I was saying before off air, like I reckon my first run, the one that calibrated with, was a 5-minute 12K an hour run. And now even when I crank it up a bit on the treadmill, it still stays at that 5 minutes. It's like it's learnt that and sticks with it. So I wonder if you have to like reset the calibration when you're going quicker.
I don't know how you recalibrate it, though.
It
doesn't ask you to recalibrate it. And because at the end of the day, like my foot's probably hitting the treadmill at similar intervals when I'm warming up to when I'm doing the session, but I'm obviously like striding a lot bigger. And obviously running a lot faster and harder. So anyway, it's not a massive issue.
So do you have a bit of Strava? Like you didn't want to put the file on Strava? You're just like, nah, I'm not putting that up.
Well, it uploaded originally, but I just deleted it and then just put the distance distance that I ran and then just put what my average heart rate was and what my max was. So that was Friday. Saturday, just 46 minutes, 4:22s out at Mulligan's, and then Sunday, long run. So I did 2 hours with Zach, and this was like, for my current level of fitness, like this was too hard. It was a relatively warm morning, and it was one of those long runs where you get an hour in and you know that the next hour is going to be like a bit of a grind. And traditionally I always just generally pick up the pace in the second half of a long run. So average 4:05s for 2 hours. And like heart rate was average like in the 140s, which is still not crazy high, but it was just, I don't need to be running that hard. Look, if it was 5 degrees, I reckon 4:05s would have felt okay. But by the time we finished, it's 22, 23 degrees with decent amount of humidity. It's, definitely felt like a bit of a session towards the end. But it was another week of 103K.
Hang on, your mate Zach as well. So his average 4:07s for 2 hours. He raced the night before a 5K?
2 days before.
Okay, 2 days. That's all right. I was like,
jeez. He raced a 5K. And I told him after that, I said, because he's going to do Canberra Marathon. And I'm like, we can't do this every week. I think it's okay to pick up the long run towards the back end, but I think the first hour needs to be cruisy, whereas, we'll still roll. And I think we're averaging 4:15s after like 3 or 4K, and it sort of just only goes one way from there, whereas probably better off rolling 4:20s to 4:30s for the first hour.
He'll say it, Tom, but he won't do it. He'll say that.
I know.
Well, Tommy doesn't mind fast long. Tommy's all for the fast long run, so he's not going to get stuck into me like Moose would.
Yeah, but he's a 2:11 guy.
I loved our little long run. Many years ago.
Week before I busted my calf in Melbourne.
Yeah, you blame me for that, don't you?
No, it was a fun run though. I think we averaged sub-4s that day for 30K through there. Yeah.
I do remember we picked it up at the end. I do remember that.
Yeah, it's tradition.
Hey, you mentioned Gold Coast, like comparing your fitness to that year, 2022.
Yeah.
Carly's got a theory that you've picked out like a marathon around our house. She's like, Croaks has got something. I can hear something in his voice that he's got some race. He's got some goals for 2024 in that brain somewhere that haven't quite come out yet.
Yeah, I got goals. I just need to get the all clear. And I like the way that I'm progressing. It's like, I had a big chunk of 70K weeks, upped it to 100 when, may not have I probably shouldn't have. But I go down to Melbourne in a couple of weeks and hopefully everything's still looking really good, and I'll be sort of pushing for maybe an increase to like 120 like sometime soon. And then, if everything keeps progressing, then potentially go a little bit more later in the year.
You could run well off 120 though. You could run a good marathon off that.
Like maybe I think mentally I would struggle, like feeling like I'm marathon fit off it. But as I said the other week, I'd have to just be really creative. I'd have to have 3 really big days a week, and then just not a lot in between. I think that would get me marathon fit. Whereas when I'm doing 160, 170, yeah, my volume's higher, but the reason why it's 160 and not 120 is just a heap of extra doubles that are 30, 40 minutes in length. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the bread and butter of the marathon is, for me, would be, 2 hours midweek, big Sunday, and probably one marathon specific session. Yeah. So, you're pretty much getting probably 90K in those three days sort of thing, or 3 runs. Yeah.
It'd be a good experiment.
Would be.
Years and years of decent mileage behind you.
You booked in for your next appointment, your heart check? Is that something that's booked in?
Yeah, so 14th of Feb, I fly down for the day for another like stress echo test, a review of the loop recorder. So fingers crossed.
That's
everything's
good to have a date.
Tracking well.
Put it in your diary, Tommy. Could be a big day for the show. If we get
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Okay, some good news. I'll whistle through this week, fellas. Monday, I was coming off like a 30k tempo run on Sunday, so I just did 30 minutes very easy at 4:48 pace in the morning before going to Melbourne and back to the tennis, which I spoke about last week. So I didn't do a double because I didn't get home until a bit later. Tuesday, I did 80 minutes in the morning at 4:27s. I was coming off 100 out of 100 sleep score, Croaks. Second one I've got. Tommy's shaking his head because he reckons the data's not accurate. But hey, when Garmin tells you you've had 100 out of 100, that's a good achievement.
Take it.
If it makes it feel good, then take it.
Fully placebo. Yeah, it does the job. 7k on the treadmill that afternoon, super easy. 5-minute K pace. Watching Boys Swallows Universe. I was finishing that last week, which was a brilliant TV show. You end up watching it, Croaks?
Not yet.
Tommy, you watched it?
Other things.
You wouldn't have time to watch TV, would you?
Floating around there. No, I haven't watched it.
Read the book first if listeners are out there and they're interested in it. Book makes a movie. Like, it's rare that they nail those TV shows like adaptations from the books, but they've done a good job there. On Wednesday, I did Moose Fartlek twice. So the 30-minute Moose Fartlek, I did it twice, so it'll come out in an hour, which, for people that don't know Moose Fartlek, it's like 3 minutes steady, 1 minute jog, 1 minute hard, 1 minute jog. So all up, it was 10 3-minute reps and 10 1-minute reps. I really needed the jog because it was hot. I started like at 6:05 a.m, 20 degrees, 87% humidity. So Tommy knows what I'm talking about. It was good. It was, I think when you go from doing floats or like constant efforts, when you get back to a workout where you're jogging in between, it just feels, super in control and super easy. So the hour come out at 17.3k at 3:28 average. The 3 minutes were kind of around 3:10 pace, and the 1 minutes were kind of like 3-minute K pace. So getting a lot of work in quicker than marathon pace, which was kind of the goal in that one. And I think mentally you get some good benefits out of doing a longer fartlek. And then, I just think they get me strong, long fartleks like that. In the afternoon, I was on the treadmill again for 7k. I did wear the Alpha Fly 1s. That was the first workout I wore those in. And I wouldn't say it's an amazing shoe yet. Like, I've done 2 workouts in it. Like, I didn't put it on and go like, wow, this is like next level, because I think the range from Nike's already so good. Like,
so is that Alpha Fly 3 you put on?
Yeah.
For the Moose Fartlek?
Yeah, straight out of the box. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was good work. Well, I've just said how good the workout felt, so maybe it had a bit to do with it, but it wasn't. You know when you first put on super shoes back in the day and you're like, wow. Or when you put on that Mizuno Rebellion Pro for the first time and you're like, wow, this is different. This just felt like it was a really, really good shoe. But I also think the Vaporfly 3's a really, really good shoe. And I think the Alpha Fly 1 was a really good shoe. Like, we're talking about an incremental, like, maybe improvement. But I think the hype around this shoe was probably just, Nike do such a brilliant job of just building the hype that you almost think, like, wow, you're going to put this on and it's going to be like a new experience. Whereas I just think it was an extension of, like, a really, really good shoe at this stage. I did 60 minutes Thursday at 4:39s in the morning, then 7k on the treadmill in the afternoon. Friday was 17k in the morning at 4:41s, and 7k outside. Mustn't have been too hot, so I went outside. And then Saturday, I had a bit of Oh, it was a bit of a clash of dates. I committed to running in this team for the Echuca triathlon, which I talk about in January pretty much every year, where I run it with the kid's doctor and, Carly's physio. So I'm in a mixed team. We've got 2 girls and a boy. But I really wanted to do Croaks. Remember that workout 2x12K off a K float?
Yep.
One of your favourites. I had that to do, and I'm like, I want to prioritise that. So I moved my Sunday workout to the Saturday, and I cut it to 2x10K. And I was like, if I'm a bit tired for this, I've got to prioritise Osaka over the local team triathlon in Echuca. So I was like, if I feel no good in the afternoon, I could just jog around in 17 or 18 minutes. They're not going to be too phased, my teammates. So I did 2x10K at like 6 a.m. in the morning. And that felt really good. Like the alphas were good in that as well. I was like trying to run like 3:18s, 3:19s, like my goal marathon pace. And a couple of times I really had to put the brakes on and probably average more 3:15s, 3:16s. The K in between was more like 3:50. It was like, I wouldn't say it was a float, but it was just a bit quicker than a jog. I did get a drink down in that K float though. And I got a 90-gram precision gel down in that 21K as well, which I was pretty stoked with. Like that's 90 grams is a lot to get in 70 minutes. So the guts felt really good. So then I took...
How did you space that out?
So they got a twist top. So I start at 2K in. So I'm just like 2K in, I pull it out of my pocket, I twist the top off, and then I just have a little bit of a mouthful, and then I put the lid back on, and then I pretty much nearly go like every 2.5, 2K after that, and it's very like small, just in the side of my mouth. You know when you kind of get too much sometimes and you get like gut issues or you try to rush it? And all of a sudden you get down to, I don't know, 18, 19K, you're pulling it out and you're like, shit, this thing's nearly finished. Like this is 90 grams I've got in. But it never feels like you have a big mouthful and you've got to like choke on it to like swallow it. So
that's where I think this gel's really good though, Brady, because I've used it on the last 2 long runs and the texture of it is very much like a gel where it almost sort of seems like it dissolves in your mouth a little bit. Where, as you said, it's not like a glug that you have to then try and like swallow. It almost just dissolves.
Yep. Yeah, it does. Like it's very easy to... And I think because it's got that twist toppy thing and you're running at a pace that's pretty... it might be different for you, Tommy, when you're going 3-minute K pace, but for me at 3:15s, 3:20s, it's like very easy to take that twist lid off at that pace and then, then you don't get shit all over your fingers or like, it goes outside your mouth. It's just very much like put the tube in your mouth and just do a little suck. So that went really well in the morning. So I was stoked with that. I come home, had an ice bath, drove Hudson to Bendigo. He was spending a couple of nights in Bendigo. And then I come home and had a 90-minute nap, boys. I felt like a full-time athlete. Laid down, read my book for half an hour, fell asleep for 90 minutes. And then I woke up and I felt amazing. Woke up at, I think, 2:30 p.m. This other race started at 6, so I didn't have too much of the day to kill. Did a 3K warm-up. Felt like I hadn't even done anything that morning. Went and ran 15:38 for 5K. Which was spot on 5K. Like I measured at 5.06, which is rare for triathlons. Couldn't pull in all the mixed teams we got done. We ended up coming second. And it was like, chaos. Like you're on a bike path, people come the opposite way. People have come off the bikes doing the whole thing and they're like running 4:30K pace. You're trying to get past them, but people come in the opposite direction. Like I was stoked that I could run, 15 mid. Given what I did in the morning. And I really wanted to kind of push that. I wanted to get that kind of back-end marathon fatigue. I thought a bit of that might have come out, but it just felt like, a kind of strong 5K kind of effort. I ran 30 seconds quicker than I did last year. And then, 2K cool down made it like a 38.5K day. And then Sunday I just took super easy. So like 8K in the morning at 4:55s and then 8K on the treadmill in the afternoon for 161K week. I put the vapor.
That's a tough double.
It was actually it looked tough on paper, but when I got to it, it was just like, it was something probably about I'll tell you what, my brain as well, 2x10K is easier than 3x5K, even though it's 5K less. Like, doing 2 by something is a piece of cake, even when they're 10K efforts. I was like, this is easy. So, a bit high risk. Like, I wouldn't recommend people doing that. I was probably biting off a bit more than I could chew. But I got away with it, and I've really got like 3 super easy days before I work out again on Wednesday. I put the Vaporfly 3 on for the 5K race. That was a bit more snappier.
Say if you went alpha again.
Nah, when use the Alpha for the morning.
I thought you would have put the Alpha on for the flex. Hey, look me, I've got this shoe that nobody else has.
It was a bit gravelly, so I didn't want to rip them up. You know, when it's gravelly through the old port of Echuca, where they're like horses and steam engines are and stuff like.
Yeah, you're not Brett Robinson. You don't have a cupboard full of them.
No, I don't. So that was good. Anyway, should we thank some Patreon supporters, Croaks?
All right, I'll kick it off. I've got Aslay Unheim from Norway. His Strava's locked down, but I think he ran 34.53 to finish third at the 2022 Unheim 10K. He ran the Berlin Marathon in both 2022 and 2023, running 2:41 both times. I think his times were within like 15 or 20 seconds of each other. So very consistent. He's a technology manager at Yaren Sparebank, which I'm guessing is a bank. Experienced consultant with a demonstrated history of working in several industries, including oil and energy, oil service, telecom, financial and IT. He's also skilled in project management, digitalisation, advisory, facilitation, business analysis, information management and process improvement. So man of many talents, Aslay. So thanks for your support.
Yeah, all the way over there in Norway, Aslay. Appreciate your support. Tommy, who you got? You want to thank someone for us? Or have I lost him?
He's gone.
He's disappeared.
I'll do Tommy.
Take yourself off mute, Tommy.
I'm on mute, sorry. No, all good, all good. I've got Mark Auckland. So he may be a Shire local. I'm not sure, but possibly. So his Strava's locked down. I did actually I had a little look on his Strava. I couldn't see anything. But yeah, he's possibly ran 80 minutes for a half at the 2019 Sydney Running Festival and 2:51 at the 2019 Melbourne Marathon. And possibly, so he may have been racing a lot when he was younger for Sutherland.
Yeah,
so
we chatted off air, Tommy. I recognise this name from like early to mid 2000s. Yeah, definitely like ran for Sutherland and like when I was running for Sydney Uni. I reckon he may have run some like shorter track stuff as well. So Mark, if you're listening, reach out and let us know. I'm pretty sure that's him.
Excellent. So yeah, he's possibly general manager of operations at Vision Lifestyle Projects and qualified chartered accountant.
Smart people this week. So we're going Norway, we're going to the Shire. I'm going to go Echuca, Croaks. Hayley Waterson, according to her Strava, she has ran 17:30 for 5K, 37:03 for 10K, 92 minutes at last year's Geelong Half Marathon, and 2:56 at last year's Adelaide Marathon, where she finished third. She won the fun run I organised in the middle of the year, Jono's run. She won that. She ran gun to tape out in front, beat all the fellas as well. She was part of the winning team. So the person I was trying to chase down on Saturday night at this team triathlon, I couldn't catch Hayley. Hayley put me to the absolute sword. Didn't even see her out there. Couldn't pull her in. So she is officially the winning team member at the Echuca Moama Team Triathlon. I think she's training for Ballarat Marathon as well. So previously lived in Geelong. I think she was an ambassador, Croaks, for Moose's running store.
All right.
Back when she used to live down there before Moose owned it. And now she's up in the lovely part of the world, Echuca Moama. So Hayley, massive thanks for your support of the Inside Running podcast. If you like what we do on this podcast, you can support the show at patreon.com/Inside Running podcast. You get to road to Osaka on a Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, depending on when they record. You get Shoe Geeks with Tommy early. You get the monthly with Sinead and Ali and Toby and who's the other guy? Christian on that show, yeah. So there's plenty of extra content coming at you. It just helps us keep the lights on here at the Inside Running podcast as well. So if you value, this is work. We are up at 8:50 p.m. on a Monday night when we could be sleeping or watching Netflix or with our families doing stuff. It takes us a lot of time to produce this show and bring it to your ears every week. So if you like what we do, you can support us for as little as $5 a month over on Patreon.
As you're listening to this show, you're probably training for a race. But how dialed in is your race nutrition? Precision Fuel and Hydration has a free online planner that you can use to work out how much carbs, sodium and fluid you need to perform at your best. Then they have a range of fuel and electrolyte products to make it real easy to hit your numbers. Brady regularly uses their resealable 90-gram gels on his longer runs, and the boys training for Osaka are working with their sports science team to dial in their strategies for race day. They also work with a long list of top runners, including 4-time Olympian Lisa Waitman, Hayden Hawkes, and regular guest on the show, Izzy Bat-Doyle. Click the link in the show notes to use the planner to personalise your strategy for your next race. Then use the code INSIDE to get 15% off your first order of fuel and electrolytes and help support the show. Patreons can get 20% off using the code shared in our Patreon-only shows. Shop now at precisionhydration.com. Now let's get back to the show.
We'll go a quick bit of running news, Croaks. There's not really much here because I'm aware that we've already been going for 62 minutes. I'll kick things off though. Vic Milers Club happened. Conor Whitely come down from New South Wales. He got the win in the 1500. He ran 3:45. Jhye Hadfield was second in 3:48 and Thomas Moorcroft was third in 3:50. Melissa Duncan, she's returned to form. Name's popping up a bit now. She had a pretty good parker on the weekend as well, I reckon, like 15:35.
15:50?
Was it? Yeah, okay. 15:50.
Yeah,
Pretty good run. So she did this on the Thursday night, then that on the Saturday morning. So she won in 4:24. Jessica Smith was second in 4:27, and the Lucy Cleveland was third in 4:28. The 800 metres, Jack Atherton won in 1:52. Degras Amekata was second in 1:53.2, and Mitchel Langborne was third in 1:53.4. Georgia Griffith, haven't seen her race for a while. She won the women's 8 in 2:06.5. Morgan Mitchell was second in 2:08.1, and Katrina Anderson was third in 2:08.7. So good to see Vic Milers Club, usually sold out. Lucky we are, well, not lucky, it's a shame we haven't got our Vic Milers Club correspondent. I know Moose was watching the whole stream from E level through to A grade on Thursday night. So that was interesting viewing. Should have added him in the chat for it.
He's already picked his race of the year.
Vic Milers Club Box
Yeah,
Hill.
I think it was Jeff Risley running 4:11 in the 1500 to finish fifth in F grade or something.
Yeah.
Moose was fascinated by it.
I like seeing Jeff still getting out there when you're not at your best. Like, it'd be hard to do for some of these people who have retired from the sport. My other bit of news this week, European Athletics has announced that they've got 10 times €50,000 bonuses for the best performers across the different event groups that are going to be offered at this year's European Championships in Rome. So winners of the bonuses will be decided using the World Athletics Performance Scores. It's the first time performance bonuses have been offered at the European Championships. I like this. Some athletes don't make a lot of money, and this is a great opportunity to put some money in their pockets. And it's a fair way, isn't it? Like, it's a very mathematical way.
Well, it certainly promotes, from a distance point of view, it promotes fast racing as well, because if it's going to be based on, the World Athletics Performance Scores, like tactical races aren't going to win the bonuses. So
yeah, true. When is the European Champs?
Good question, Tommy. I'll have a look while you go through your news.
It must be coming up soon. But yeah, Tommy, what news have you got? New South Wales milers.
So we had, I think this was Saturday night. I didn't catch it, unfortunately, but we had New South Wales milers. I think it was at Bankstown. So 1500, Laura Roff. So I think you've had Jeremy Roff on the pod before, haven't you?
Have, yeah.
So this is his partner. So she won it in 4:30. Amelia May second in 4:35, and Ruby McPhillips third in 4:41. And for the guys, we had Alex Talbot take the win in 3:53, second to Braden Everett in 3:55, and third to Scotty Hamilton in 3:57. And then for the 800, Ivy Boothroyd 2:08 for the win, Mabel Dukes 2:14 for second, and Sienna Novak 2:16 for third. The guys, so Benjamin Jagger, I think his run crew 150 on your Ben. Second, Oliver Neat 152, and third Ben Maloney 153.
Tommy, have you come across Ivy Boothroyd? Because I've heard massive raps on her. I believe she's a Jhye girl.
Is she? No, I haven't, to be honest. I have heard that the Jhye produces a lot of good runners, but no, I haven't seen Ivy.
Yeah, one to watch. And European champs are from the 7th to the 12th of June.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Did I see Josh Kerr not doing that?
He said he's probably not doing it, from what I heard.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if he's confirmed not, but he said he's probably not.
Wonder if €50,000 gets him out of there.
Well, athletes are pulling out of things left, right, and centre. Like the next bit of news for you, Tommy, is like an athlete pulling out of World Indoors. Obviously this year there's just so many events on. You've got World Cross, you've got European Champs, you've got World Indoors, and you've got the Olympics. Like it's unheard of to have this many major championships, and obviously people are prioritising the Olympics, which means those other events are going to be a bit depleted, I think.
Yeah, and it's sad because isn't it? The World Indoors is in Scotland. Isn't
it? Yeah.
So Jake Whiteman's probably so he said he's going to miss it. So he's missing it to focus on the Olympics. And maybe Josh Kerr won't be there either. But Jake will be at the Moree plant meet apparently.
That'll be good.
That'd be cash though, wouldn't it? Like that's a bit of a get into some warmer weather, use the name the World Championships gold, cash in a bit. Don't have to be in real good shape. Maybe Centro's done it before, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure cash is a part of it, but it's also these guys are so meticulous when it comes to peaking that they probably don't want to go to a World Indoors underdone. Yes, it's on home soil, but they still want to be competitive and they pride themselves on world-class performances. So, there's no point in them trying to peak for World Indoors when the goal is, August, especially with Jake. Jake's had a few injuries in the last, 12, 18 months.
Yeah. I think Josh Kerr's sort of, I think part of his excuse, I guess, or reason is because he's based in the US. So I think travel as well is traveling for different events. Obviously, can take it out if you've got multiple trips, breaking up a training cycle.
What are your thoughts on this beef with Jakob? Tommy, you like it?
It's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's great. We need more of it. He's just as he should be, I guess, world champ, but he's very confident. He's making some good statements, good bold statements. Yeah,
this is the latest one on the weekend. Ingebrigtsen has flaws on the track and in the manners realm. That was in the article in The Guardian. I sent it through to Christian, and he just said, if this guy ever steps off a plane into Oslo, he'd be a dead man walking. He's not well liked. Josh Kerr in the Norwegian capital.
That's great.
So you probably can't go to the Bislett Games for the next couple of years, Josh Kerr. But I like it. It's entertaining.
It's good. Yeah, it's good for sport. Okay, and we got so other news you've dropped in here. We got Andrea Sekafane, who's I think she's trained with MTC, hasn't she?
Yeah, and then she went to Bauman, but I think she's left Bauman now too.
Yeah, everyone else.
Yeah.
She's making her marathon debut in Tokyo, March 3rd. And she's got a half PB of 69.38, so should be well anticipated this marathon debut.
She's back in Australia too. She was training around Albert Park on Saturday morning. My whisperers tell me.
So that was in your whisper section until this came out in a press conference. So you had to take that off.
Yeah, I wrote it before I saw it though, Crooks. I'm always a bit ahead of the game.
And just a couple more bits of news based on fields for events that are coming up. So the Millrose Games, they're in February the 11th. And so Laura Muir headlines the women's Wanamaker Mile field. She'll be joined by Jess Hull, Sinclair Johnson, Jessette Andrews and Katie Snowden. And at the same meet, Josh Kerr will be attempting to break the world indoor 2-mile record. And joining him on the start line will be Grant Fisher, Kai Robinson, Geordie Beamish, Joe Klecker, Cooper Tier, Matt Stonia, and a couple of Ethiopians, Samuel Faiwu and Adisu Wihuni. That'll be, I guess, from our point of view, watching Kai go around and Jess and seeing how close Josh Kerr gets to that world record. Boston, interesting that the info that we got today was just the men's elite field, not the women's, but Valencia Marathon winner Sisse Lemmer with a PB of 2:01:48 is the fastest runner this year, which is on April the 15th. So he faces a field which includes last year's winner Evans Chebet from Kenya and last year's runner-up Gabriel Jhye from Tanzania. And then there's a heap of sub-2:05 performances. And so Sondra Moen's running as well. So that's one to watch out in April. And then Brady put in here. So Western Australia had their 5K track champs. Matt Ramsden got the win there in 13:59. Luke Burrows second, 14:17. And Kai He was third in 14:22. Sian Munks won the women's 17:02. Lauren Hyde Cooling was second in 17:11. And Kiara Nazaroff was third in 17:32.
Boston go women's earlier, Croaks. So I reckon they released it about a week ago.
Oh, okay.
So that was like Des Linden was there, Emma Bates, because she's withdrawn from the US Olympic trials. So Helena Beery's there again. They've got, like, if you're not seeing a big name on Boston's list, it means you're probably seeing it at London, because that's where they kind of go, unless you're Calvin Kiptum and you buck the trend and you go to Rotterdam instead of the World Marathon Majors. Degras is there, Korea's there. Edna Kiplagat, she's won it before. Did she actually win it across the line first, or did the people who won get done and then it got handed to her? Not 100% sure off the top of my head.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, but good to see. Hey, it's like January, releasing fields for April. Build the hype. They do that well. We've got a bit of a product review, Croaks, before we wrap up the show, with a few kind of segments quickly after that. So this is Precision Hydration. Have you done, because I know I was jogging with a bloke today, and our Patreon supporters and general supporters as well, listeners, you would have seen in the show notes there is a hydration and fueling planner that you can fill out. So I actually did this today for the first time, because the guy I ran with this morning is like, it's excellent to do, and I was like, it can't be that good, surely. Like, I've seen these things before. Tommy, we might get you to do it while we're on air, mate. I'll give you this link. Have a crack at this thing. Click on that link in that show note there. This will get you sorted for Osaka. But pretty much, it asks you a few questions. It asks you what races you're doing, how heavy you sweat, what your goal time is. And then it kind of says, hey, this is what we recommend for you. And then it gives you like an option to buy a pack that just has the things you need in it. And our listeners as well get 15% off with the code. And also our Patreon supporters get 20% off. So it wraps up nice and easy for people to be like, hey, this is what it's telling me I actually need. I might test it out. The pack's not ridiculously expensive. And I did it today. And I was just been talking about I'm trying to get 90 grams an hour in. It spat out that I need 90 grams an hour. I need 100 milligrams per litre, Croaks. Am I reading that correctly? Of sodium?
1,000 milligrams per litre of sodium, yeah.
And 450 mil per hour plus 150 mil. Is that of electrolytes?
No, so it's plus or minus.
Plus
so
when
when they give you an amount of 450 mils, plus or minus 150, sort of depending on, the conditions of the day and your sweat rates and stuff like that.
I've done these things before and they spit out like ridiculous, like unachievable numbers, whereas 450 mils is like 2 pop-tops.
I was surprised because I did it as well, Brady, and like we do have very similar figures here, mainly because, I guess the times that we're looking to run are similar. So it's not like, one of us is out there for 3.5 hours and somebody's 2 hours 20, and we're also like similar weight. So I also got like 90 grams of carbs per hour. I put in that my goal time was like 2 hours 24 in like moderate conditions, so not super cold, not hot. 90 grams an hour of carbs, same sodium, and my fluid levels were 300 mils per hour plus or minus 150, because you must put that you sweat a bit, whereas like I'm often running with like Rob Wilson, and actually he's put some photos up on Strava. He'll finish a run and he'll be wearing the running company Geelong top, and it is just covered in like salt stains. And like I've never sweated that much before. So yeah, you can cater it based on your own sort of sweat levels, but you also can go and do some testing. So, but it's fascinating how this area of running has changed so much. Like I remember 2017, 2018, I was reading a few articles about nutrition studies that they'd done with some of like Canada's top marathoners. I think like Reed Coolset was one of them, and it was amazing because I remember back when I first ran marathons, it was like, oh yeah, you take a couple of gels with you, and like I'm talking probably 90 grams over the whole race, which is sort of what Tommy does now, but but he's quite unique. Whereas this study that I read was you should be more like 70 to 90. And when I ran my best, I was definitely, I probably wasn't quite 90, but I would have been 70 to 80, which was higher than any other marathon I'd done before. So I found this thing quite good. And like in terms of the product, Precision Hydration, like have you used any other stuff in the last week, or has it just been the 90?
No, I used the carb mix as well.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my thing. And I still put so when I had that 90 gram gel in that 21K workout the other day, I had a chew again when I was putting my Alpha Fly 3s on. So I was like, I want to get in the habit of like kind of just loading in a bit before, not that so much the gun goes off, but a bit before the workout starts. And then I had the carb mix, and I'm a real like probably more hydrolyte like tab in the water over like carb mixes, because I feel sometimes they're like a bit too sweet. And it's got really good, this is a funny story, on the back of the like carb mix thing, it's got like put in like 1 to 5 scoop depending on like how much carb you want. And I heard Moose on road to Osaka talking about how his was too thick and he was nearly vomiting. And then I asked him how many scoops he put in, and he's like, I put in 6. So he's gone above the recommended dosage, and was wondering why he was nearly vomiting. So I think I went with 2 scoops, so not a super high concentrate, and it was very easy to get down. Not sure if you guys have ever, probably not, you're probably not as blue collar as me. Like, do you guys ever drink the Maximus? You guys are probably Powerade or Gatorade kind of guys. I'm a bit
I have had Maximus
before. I had the lemon Maximus, the ice block one. It tastes very similar to that, which is the best flavour Maximus there is. But yeah. Had it before, Tommy? That lemon flavour?
I've not.
It's very refreshing. Yeah, it was even, like, I had some left over after my workout, and usually, like, my guts are a bit like, all I've done is chuck carbs in them, like, throughout the workout, and I was just, like, actually could drink it on the drive home going, this is more like a refreshing drink more than a carb mix. So, yeah, it went down very easy. I probably only had 150 to 200 mil. So now we've got approved for drinks. I've really got to figure out and dial into my plan for Osaka and see how much I'm going to rely on the drink tables and how much I'm just going to carry gels. Because all I have to do is take 2 of those 90 gram gels. So pretty much got me.
How many mils or how many grams is the actual, like, what's the volume of that?
Sachet. Give me 2 seconds. Have a guess while I get one out of the cupboard.
Just interested to know like how bulky or how heavy it is.
It's actually not too bad. So, like traditional shorts, you would struggle to carry it. But I know like the Lululemon tights, for example, like they've got these pouches down the outside, like these massive pockets, and that would easily slip inside that.
It's 153 grams, and then you get the 90 grams worth of carbs. So that would, and I carried one in my hand at Gold Coast, and then had maybe another one in my Lululemon shorts, and then a couple on the other side. But it's like that's pretty good. I've got pretty baby. Like I'm a small guy, Tommy, and that's fitting inside my hand pretty easy.
Yeah,
you know
that's pretty good.
Brady, I got a question for you about the actual gel. Like we said before, how I like the texture of it because it does sort of dissolve in your mouth, but I'm really struggling to describe how it tastes because to me it doesn't seem to have a lot of flavour other than it's just like there's a sweetness. But to me, I don't know how.
Is it a bit like Morton? Because that's how I feel about Morton.
Yeah, well, I've never had Morton.
I've never had Morton.
No.
It's like the texture is completely different than Morton. Like it's not that. It's the liquidy.
It's more fluid. Yeah.
Yeah, not completely fluid.
But you know what I mean by that flavour? It doesn't really have. It's just.
We'll ask Andy Blow when he comes on the next couple of weeks. But I think they go with it being an unflavoured gel, don't they? Isn't that what they actually? Yeah, it doesn't say on the back here, but it's very easy to get down, but almost I do think there's a place for having something that tastes different towards 35k onwards, like it could be your Red Bull or your Flat Coke or whatever it is, just because that is so easy. And so I don't know if you're putting 2 of those down, you might be over that flavour.
100% Brady, and I think in a way it's more psychological. Like it's psychological as well, because you get to a point where like you're 25k in and you're like, all right, things are starting to get a little bit harder now. I get to 30k and I know I get to like drink something different, and I look forward to a Red Bull or I look forward to a Coke. And so it almost then takes your mind off what you're doing, or something to look forward to, I think. So I think mixing things up is really important.
Yeah, and that's like a choose a mint and lemon. So they've got a mint one and a lemon one. So that could be where you get a different bit of taste then as well.
I did have one of those, Brady. They're quite easy to get down because they come in like one packet, but like so 30 grams of carbs in one tube, but it's sort of already broken in half for you. So you can, so I guess one piece has 15 grams of carbs, but it's quite easy to digest.
Yeah,
I got my fuel and hydration plan.
Did you? What did it spit out for you?
So,
mate, if you're going to run 208,
I think you got 90 grams an hour carb, 1,000 milligrams litre fluid, 300 mil an hour fluid.
Yeah. Oh, you get a bit.
You're not a big sweater then either.
A bit less than me, I reckon. No, I was 450 mil.
Yeah. I was 300 as well.
Didn't you just say sweat was dripping off you in that workout? But I guess that's when it's...
I don't know. I inputted it like as if the conditions I'll be racing in.
Yeah, that's what you're meant to do. Yeah, so
I'm not going to be sweating much in Osaka.
Nah. Yeah, I probably got a bit of bias of what I've actually been doing the last couple of weeks in Echuca.
I don't think there's any way I'll be getting 90 grams an hour in, but yeah, I'll be trying to get close.
So patrons, you check your feed because Zach has put a discount code on there for you guys, and then everyone else, listen to Croaks doing the reads at the start and the end of the show, and you'll be able to hear a discount code there as well. Also, link in our bio for some more notes there as well. Their website's got some great articles and stuff on it as well. I did like when you filled it out, it sent me an email, and then it kind of gives you your race day plan, like from what you should be doing 60 to 90 minutes beforehand, what you should be doing 15 minutes before, what you should be doing during the race, and then a final checklist. And then, the packet kind of sets you up with really cool. And then there's an option as well. It's like, do you still have questions? Book a free 20-minute video consult with our athletic support team to discuss your plan, or send us an email. And I'm like, geez, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And my starter pack here was $59.99, which had a bit of stuff in it. Plus you put those discounts on. It's a bargain. So massive thanks to Precision Hydration for their support of the Inside Running podcast. What are we doing next, Croaks? Listener question, then we'll bring the show home.
Yep. All right. So this week's listener question it's on nutrition. Would love to hear about your everyday nutrition principles, including pre-daily runs. And this question comes in, I believe, from Ian Thompson. So maybe we'll kick it off with you, Tommy, because I know the boys ripped into you a while back when you said that you were trying to lose some weight and may have got injured as a result. So have your nutrition principles changed?
Yeah, I copped it. I brought it on myself. No, I mean, at the end of the day, distance running, you can't, you want to be light, but the key is to do it in a safe and sustainable way, which I think I probably should reach out to a nutritionist again. I have in the past, and because I've been doing it for a long time, I sort of like to think I know what I'm doing, but essentially, all I do is fuel for the purpose. And so basically, if I've got a session leading into the session, I'm more like eating a high percentage of carbs. So for example, like on the Saturday just gone, I made a risotto, like a vegetable risotto. So it was pretty much just a huge serving of carbs. And normally I would eat, like if it's not a session day the next day, it's a lot more veggies, probably more protein and veggies, and a bit lighter on the carbs. So I'll cycle it through the week like that. I'll just go a lot more carb heavy in mostly just the day before. Leading into this like marathon session, basically I did go a couple of days heavy into the carbs as a way of as part of that race prep. So just like nutrition for these. This is probably that was probably my last big marathon session before Osaka. So I just really wanted to try nutrition. So eat what I normally would eat and time it. I guess that's sort of how I would do it.
What about pre-run? So like when you when you do your 2 double runs, do you eat before you run in the morning?
No, I don't. I've historically had a really for years, like just my stomach doesn't tolerate food very well, so I just do all my morning runs fasted. I have a strong coffee. I'll do like a double espresso. That's going to perk me up, and that's fine for me. Like I get going. I have no issues get going in the morning from having a strong coffee. And that's also my pre-race routine. I don't eat anything the morning of a race.
Really? Even marathon? You won't eat anything? Wow.
No.
And only have 2 gels?
No. Yeah. No. Yeah. I just can't
You're like
tolerate
a camel.
it.
You're like a camel, except you store glycogen.
What about Osaka with like a midday start?
It's 9:15 start, Osaka.
Oh, is it? Good, I know that now. Don't rock up at start line. I think Craig Appleby thinks it's a midday start.
No, it's not. So Lake Biwa, I believe, was a midday. And I did have breakfast at that
and
that day, and that did not end well. I had a toilet stop at like 20k. It didn't sit well in my stomach at all. So like I mentioned before, it was quite like that's just how it always seems to work for me. But I was interested to see what actually happens with like my blood glucose and stuff like that. So essentially, as soon as I start running, my blood glucose starts going up, and that's just from the fuel that is stored, I guess, in my muscles and in my liver. So to me, like the fueling definitely like race fueling, I think to me is like not the key. The key is how well you carb load in the day before and the days leading in. And then that extra, whatever it is, like this is my personal opinion, but I think that extra top up is that top up if you can tolerate it in the morning, top up if you can, whatever you can tolerate in the race, top up. But like the key is really just how much you can store the day, I think particularly the day before. So I really go hard on carbs, and it seems like it's enough to sustain me so far for most of my running.
Yep.
What are you, Brady?
Like everyday nutrition principles are just trying to get as much in as possible. Like really, like it's trying to, I said a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about weight, just trying to get on the scales and being as close to like 60 kilos. So even like it's like, I think people would be amazed how much some of us eat given our size. Like I think people look at you and you go, you wouldn't be able to eat that much. Like you're pretty skinny. But even like the bowl of muesli before dinner, just to pretty much like top up and get some like extra calories in, like when you not even that hungry, but you know it's kind of good for you to get those extra calories in. That's why I used to always run faster, Tommy, similar to you. I just didn't feel like I needed it for my like easy jogs. I'd always have a couple bits of toast before workouts, but now I'll make sure I get up like half an hour earlier and just chuck in a couple of bits of toast before I jog, just to start that, calorie input before I actually go out running. So yeah, I'm black coffee, 2 bits of toast, maybe some raisin toast sometimes, bit of peanut butter on there. And just, a lot of carb heavy pastas, rice dishes. Try to have red meat a couple of times a week for the iron and stuff. I've been getting into the kangaroo lately too. Overseas listeners might find that a bit weird, but very high in iron, and you can buy it from the supermarket. Like I'm not doing dodgy stuff, going out the bush and finding kangaroos jumping around or anything. So yeah, that's just a general, and just plenty of like water. I've got one of those Morton 500ml drink bottles, and it's just like, just constantly knowing that's half a litre and just sipping away on that a couple of times a day.
Yeah, Brady, I don't know. I think maybe we're very different. I don't know if you're an outlier or I am, but
you're the outlier, Tom.
I'm the opposite. Like I got to watch what I eat. If I'm snacking and eating whatever and trying to like put calories on, I put weight on, and then I start getting further and further away from what I consider as like a better race weight.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm even at the stage where
it's the opposite.
I'll have a couple of weeks off after a marathon, and I put on like half a kilo, and I would have ran 20k for the week. And it's just I can put on like 4 kilo pretty easily. Like a week or two after a marathon. So do you because I'm at a stage where like I'll often eat shit because it's high in calories. Like will you eat ice creams or biscuits or anything like that?
No,
you can't get away with that.
I'll literally put on weight.
Really?
Doing like 200k a week.
Do you eat like fast food and stuff? Like, you ever eat Maccas and stuff like that?
No, like when I'm not like in a marathon, when I'm not in a marathon block, I'm not worried about my weight or about like peak performance. I'll eat some crap and just more calorie dense stuff. But otherwise, like I get enough calories and I think I get enough of my energy requirements eating healthy, like not trying to go for those processed calorie dense foods.
Yeah.
If I go for those calorie dense foods, I just don't feel as good.
And it's probably a great point that there's no like generic answers for this listener question either.
Yeah.
What can you add, Croaks?
Not a lot. Like I'm very much about fueling around like the sessions and things like that. So if I'm doing a morning session with the group, I'm up at 5:30. I'll have like a coffee and a piece of bread with some jam on it, and then I'll start running. Probably warm up 45 minutes later. In the afternoon it used to be like coffee and raisin toast. But I'm a bit like Tommy, if I know that I've got like a long run or, a long session coming up the day before, I'll definitely eat a lot more. And I will have a little bit more junk. Like I'll go and smash 3/4 of a tea cake sort of thing because I know it's high in carbs and it's going to help me. And likewise, after the session, I'm very much about, getting the protein straight in and quick carbs. So like lollies, up and goes, that sort of thing. Like the fasted running is an interesting one because when I was running at my best, I went through a phase where I was actually really obsessed with like fasted running to the point that I would have black coffee and I'd have like amino acids like dissolved in water and that stuff tastes disgusting. It was like pinch your nose and just down the hatch because I think those BCAAs or whatever they are like just help with the muscle, like not breaking down your muscles running fasted. But I got to the point where I could go out and run a long run, I don't know, like 2 hours 35 with nothing, not having had breakfast or anything. And I think you can train yourself to be better at running long distances at a decent pace without fuel because I got good at it. Like whether it's good for you, I don't know. But there's no way I could do that now. Like I'll run an hour 45 and I'll be looking for something because I'm starting to get dizzy. So I think there's a place for it. Dietitians may disagree. I don't know, but I certainly got pretty good at being able to do it just with practice.
Yeah, zero qualifications between the three of us here on this question, but that's just our everyday nutrition principles. Maybe incorrect, maybe correct. Do you want to whisper, Tommy? Got one for you. Take this one to the bank for you. Tell your Sydney mates. US Olympic trials are coming up on the 3rd of Feb. Lindsay Flanagan, good mates of Bradley Croker, so this one hits home here. He paced her at the 2022 Croaks Gold Coast Marathon when she got the win there, coached by Benita Willis. She's been in Adelaide for months, and my whispers tell me that she is training their house down. She come off 9th at the World Champs over in Budapest, where she, I think she ran 2:26 in the heat that day. So she's fit as a fiddle. She's been in Australia. She's got that like Australia grit about her now. She'll go back over there. She'll be top 3 at the US trials and go to the Olympics in Paris. So you heard here first on Jan 22nd. Get on our girl. And a bit of a follow-up from last week, Croaks. We had a bit of chat about Big M's, which is not just a Big M problem. It's also a chocolate milk problem where all the cartons of chocolate milk here in Australia are designed where you can only open one side. We've got some mail correspondence in. Just going to read this out to you. This started off directed at Brady. Thanks for the recent Brady's on the loose. It's been great having someone not afraid to go after the big brands. On the last week's Big M cartons not opening at both sides, my understanding, as someone who works very high up for the company that owns Big M, on why the Big M cartons only open one side is that if both sides can be opened, the carton is a lot more fragile structurally and prone to damages and splitting during shipping and storage. It's a downside of using eco-sustainable packaging materials and very standard across the industry. Double-sided opening would be groundbreaking in the milk world. Keep up the great work and don't be afraid to keep rattling the cage. That comes in from an anonymous source. But you saw that as well, Croaks, in our DMs. I haven't just made that up. So it's a problem in the milk industry.
I did see that. But I reckon I've opened up a carton of milk from the wrong end before, and I've been able to do it.
Yeah, but they just make it a bit firmer on that other side so they can be transported. But I'm just saying,
you can still do it though.
This is a problem for people out there. It wasn't just my mind thinking about it last week. It's a big problem in the milk industry, and people are trying to solve it. So we really appreciate it.
I don't think I've opened up a carton since primary school.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys don't do more of that. I was shocked when Croak said he doesn't open them up. My other Brady on the loose, probably a conversation starter here. What are your thoughts on, like, this come across my desk today, AI as running coaches, like download this app, input your data, here's your program for the next 12 weeks. You want to do Boston Marathon, Berlin Marathon, wellness run Melbourne, whatever it is. What are your thoughts? Like, are we going to be out of the job soon, Croaks, as online running coaches? Yes, we already have that sense of I guess, technology in our jobs, but we're still humans on the other side of the keyboards. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think people that are like really serious about their running would still go for an in-person coach as opposed to just doing it off an app. Because coaching is more than just writing a program. Like, there's so many factors, and like I know personally, like I don't send a program out any further in advance than 2 weeks because things just change. And also, like, even knowing the people personally, like, so I coach a few people up in Queensland, and it's like so hot and humid up there that like I've modified their training over summer because knowing what other stresses they have on. So yeah, there's more to coaching than just an app. And we spoke about this off air as well, Brady, that you can have the best program in the world from a coaching point of view, but you often don't know what that athlete has outside of what they're doing for the rest of their running. So are they fueling well? What are their stresses like at work? You're not going to get all of that from an app. Whereas at least my athletes could say, hey, I've got this stress on, so let's modify this. Because I said to you, like, I've even had athletes that, some will do everything. Because when I write a program, I assume that they're actually looking after themselves in between training. But, if they're not fueling, they're not getting sleep, it doesn't matter how good the program is. They're probably going to get sick, injured, or not run well because of all of those other factors outside of just the program itself.
I think you boys are going to be safe for a job for a while, don't worry.
Reckon, Tommy? How would you feel like you come across the line at Osaka, you've ran 2:08.05, and then you sync it up to your phone, and then the app says, well done, Thomas, on your performance today. Congratulations. But you want to share the highs and lows of a human interaction, don't you? That level of accountability. And, like, I know some of my, I know you talk about it a bit, Croaks, but, like, sometimes when we use Final Surge, and when you see that upload come through and then you get the message and you sense the emotion in the message or the phone call afterwards, it's just like, that's what you're doing it for, not so much.
I think its utility is just like possibly a slightly better version of the generic plans that you just download that are just like a generic marathon plan, and you can give AI some more information about you and your specific goals, and maybe it is a bit more tailored, but it's never going to be at the level that a coach could. And the what's the word?
I see your old 70-year-old at the local athletics track who's been doing it for 40 years. His knowledge compared to the app might be a bit different. But they look so sexy though, Tom. Have you seen some of them? They look so smooth, and the Instagram reels that come with them. And, like, I was looking at this one today thinking, like, take my money, this looks good. It's like they look very, very clean. And I think it's probably
keep updating your Run to PB website, mate.
That's Zach's job, mate. I don't have time for that. The CEO can do that stuff. But, they look so good. And I feel like it's that, like, fitness PT world, because running's pretty hip and cool and popular at the moment, kind of probably coming into the running space and going, hey, we can make money here. You can't blame people for trying to make a living and stuff like that. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well. And I guess it could be cost-effective for people as well.
I think coaching as well, like, there's a big aspect of it that's like relationship based. And, like, I know when I was running at my best, like, my coach was over in New Zealand at the time, and it was just having that reassurance that, somebody, that he had faith in that we were doing the right thing, and just having a phone call and then coming off that phone call, just feeling reassured that, he's got your back and that, you're heading in the right direction. You're not going to get that off an app.
Yeah.
Like, or how can you build a relationship with an app? You can't.
Tell you how they'll do it. The app will give you instant kudos on Strava, and that'll hook people in.
Yeah, there'll be some kind of like dopamine kind of hit. you light up different colours or something when you achieve it for the accountability and stuff.
Speaking of suggested workouts and stuff, Brady, do you still have the suggested workouts on your Garmin pop up every day for what you should do?
You should have seen mine the other day after I had this 100 out of 100 score. It was something, it was I'm going to say it was 30 by 200 metres at 205k pace.
Yeah, it always tells me that I'm not doing enough anaerobic stuff. So yeah, it wants me to run at sub 245k pace. And but then on the flip side, it's never told me to run more than an hour.
Yeah.
So maybe it knows I've got a dodgy heart or something. I should be running over an hour.
After that really big Saturday, when I woke up on the Sunday, it said training readiness 3 out of 100. And it's just recommend rest day. And I'm like, hey, you know what's going on? I put a bit of stress through the body yesterday.
What's the longest run it's told you to do?
Oh, maybe an hour. Yeah. Or 70 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The point you're trying to make, there's still some developments if we're going to let AI take over our training. That was a good chat, fellas. I enjoyed that. What's coming up? South Australia 5K champs on Wednesday. ACT track and field champs this weekend. Any big dogs coming down from Perisher to do that, Croaks?
It's normally a pretty good meet because the 800's on the Friday night, and so it's generally a pretty fast track. So often we'll get a lot of people down from Sydney. Sometimes Peter Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised if guys like Joe Deng run. Cam Myers. So it should be a decent meet. Some of the events anyway.
Yep. And a repeat from last week, our Mizuno/Road to Osaka Inside Running Podcast listeners marathon session, open training, whatever you want to call it, Sunday, 4th of Feb, Albert Park. We're going to start a warm-up, I think, 6:30 bottle drop, 6:45 warm-up, 7:15 workout. Be sure to get down there. You want to try the Mizuno Rebellion Pros. There'll be some of those to test as well. We'll have final details on the workout next week. I'll get that off Moose. Should come down for that, Tommy. Put a few blokes to the sword, get a last confidence booster before you go. See if we can get you flying down.
I'd love to do a session around Albert Park.
You ever ran around there in a race, Albert Park 10K?
I've never done that, no.
Just some cool downs and warm-ups before Zatopek, maybe?
No, I've only ever done one Zatopek. That was Box Hill.
Oh, that was a good year, wasn't it?
That was great.
The Stewie and Pat Tiernan year. Everyone ran quick. Everyone was in next percents.
Oh, really?
You were in next percent, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. That wasn't that year that I was there.
Did you do Brett Robinson winning year? I reckon.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
was
that Australia Day or something?
I don't even remember.
I reckon it was Australia Day. They moved it. That's it, Croaks. What do you got coming up between now and next week?
A bit of training. Probably last week of holidays, I suppose. Actually, I probably won't get called in next week because I think school only goes back late next week. So
Wednesday here in Victoria, it goes back. Yeah,
so I probably won't be needed in the first 2 days.
Tommy, what you got coming up?
Not a lot, mate. Just more of the same. I'm busy with work and just trying to squeeze in. I really don't have much of a life at the moment, to be honest. I'm just squeezing in the training, work. Kids are still on school holidays, so just Lana's. I mean, I can't complain. She's organised all their schedules. So I just got to be there and do this at this time. But
have you cut hours at all, just to try and get a bit more training, a bit more recovery, and try and live a bit more of the pro athlete life?
I've got as part of my week. I mean, I'm still probably doing about maybe 30 or so hours clinically, but I take a good hour and a half. 2 hours actually block 2 days a week to go to the gym. So I go to the gym in the city so I'll take a break from work, go to the gym. So that's been a bit of it's hard to carve out the time, but I've decided to carve out the time to do the gym. Otherwise I just won't do it. I won't do it at home. So
you set your gym stuff.
Sorry?
You set your gym stuff.
I used to get it from Dave Costello.
Yep.
You guys know Dave.
Yeah.
He was great. But he's packed up shop. He's teaching now. So I see the guys at 4D. So Jack at 4D, he gives me a program. They're just in the CBD, near Town Hall. So it's close to work. I work in Surrey Hills, so I just sort of jump on the light rail. It's a few stops. It's great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good setup. It's a good gym, and I'm happy with Jack's programming. It's good. It's a solid hour, twice a week.
Heavy weights or more sort of activation stuff?
Yeah, so it's a good, like, it's a proper, like, it's a 1 hour of, like, I'm not mucking around. I'm in there and doing stuff. So I start with mobility activation, and then the next set is like the main set of strength. So I'm lifting heavy, whether that's like deadlifts or squats or that sort of stuff. And then plyometrics. So I'll just cycle through the heavy weights, plyos, and then after that it's just some sort of general like trunk work and some other sort of slightly lower load strength work to finish up.
Makes his week even more impressive, Brady.
It's pretty good.
Throwing that in.
Dad of 2 kids, working full-time, running 200k weeks. You're taking new clients at Pinnacle Sports Podiatry, Tommy? If any Sydney people are out there listening, you're pretty full.
No, yeah. I'm always, yeah. I mean, I'm only probably a couple of weeks booked out, so I've still got. Get
in there, listeners, if you like what you've heard. How the Sydney Swans looking, Tom?
They're looking a bit better this season. So I did the pre-season screening a few weeks ago, or it was actually just before they had the Chrissy break, and there was less issues in the last couple of years, so that's good.
They didn't invite you to the 2K time trial?
No, every year they like joke about, Tommy will get you over the 2K time trial, but then like when it comes to it, I don't get the invite, and I reckon they're just, But I said to them what they should do is I'll do the 2K time trial and I'll show them up, and then but then we're going to do like a kick for distance or accuracy or whatever, and they'll just destroy me when I try, and I'll probably pull a hammy.
I heard one of the clubs banned super shoes from their 2K time trials.
Not us.
You heard that on this show.
I'll give like person by person advice, but whether they actually take my advice, because I've had some of the guys that maybe aren't taking the advice on board, but for the most part, no,
Very good. Thanks, Tommy. Good luck for the last 5 weeks for the Osaka prep, and we'll probably see you over in Japan if we don't see you beforehand.
Yeah, we'll do. Sounds good.
Thanks, Tommy. See you, Coach. See you, boys.
See you,
Thanks,
mate.
listeners. Do it all again next week.
And I'm gonna hold my head up high. I was told as a young man, doesn't matter if you're white or black. Just show love to everyone you meet. Doesn't matter if it don't come back.